Jayanti Bhataka Ch.Ch. Sarvesham Kudunartino. So we are continuing with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila Chapter 3, Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Advaita Acharya, and the grand feast that Advaita Acharya and his wife prepared for the Lord. So we heard yesterday some descriptions of all these wonderful Bengali delicacies. And now we're going to hear of Advaita Acharya offering them to Mahaprabhu. Tin Shubha Vittatar Uparivasan Edupi Sakshat Krishna Korailo Mojam. There were 3 sitting places where soft cloths were placed. Thus Lord Krishna was offered all the food, and the Lord took it very pleasantly. Aratir Kaledui Prabhu Bolailo Prabhu Sange Sobeasi Arati Dekilo. It is the system after offering food to perform Bhoga Arati. Advaita Prabhu asked the 2 brothers, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, to come see the Arati. The 2 lords and all others present went to see the Arati ceremony. Arati Koriya Krishna Koralo Shayan Acharya Si Prabhure Tobe Koilani Vedam. After Arati was performed for the deities in the temple, Lord Krishna was made to lie down to rest. Advaita Acharya then came out to submit something to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Diher bitore Prabhu Karunagaman Dui Bai Aila Tobe Kodite Bojam. Shri Advaita Prabhu said, My dear lords, kindly enter this room. The 2 brothers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, then came forward to take the prasadam. Mukunda Haridas Dui Prabhu Bolailo Jodahate Dui Jan Kohite Lagilo. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu went to accept the prasadam, they both called Mukunda and Haridas to come with them. However, Mukunda and Haridas, both with folded hands, spoke as follows. Mukunda kohe mor kichu krityanahi sade pache mui prasad pamu tumi jaha gore. When Mukunda was called for, he submitted, My dear sir, I have something to do that is not yet finished. Later I shall accept the prasadam. So you 2 Prabhus should now please enter the room. Haridas kohe mui papishta adam bahire ek mushti pache korimu bojam. Haridas Thakur said, I am the most sinful and lowest among them. I am the most sinful and lowest among men. Later I shall eat 1 palmful of prasadam while waiting outside. So we see this type of exchange between the Lord and the devotees, that the Lord is, out of affection for his devotees, he's like inviting a more intimate relationship. And the devotees are not immediately jumping to that. They're always feeling some shyness and withdrawing and waiting till it is really, they feel there is really a real service necessity for them to accept a more intimate relationship. So Mahaprabhu is inviting Mukunda, Haridas, you come and sit with me at my table, and they're both making some, they're evading that, in some way, making some excuse. This is the natural mood of superior Vaishnavas, and it is also a safe and healthy way to approach. Then we will have a strong foundation if we have that mood of adhering to the lower services. There's a place where Srila Sridhar Maharaj talks about that I will not be so eager to run to get a position in the higher officer class, he says like that. But I will adhere to the lower services, and that type of attention, that will automatically take one to a higher position. It will happen in a forceful way and out of service necessity. Sakyaya te mama namostu namostu nityam. Dasyaya te mama rasostu rasostu satyam. Raghunath Das Goswami's prayer, that I'm always paying my dandavat to Sakya Ras, indicating a more intimate relationship with the Lord. But I am always relishing with great happiness Dasya Ras. I'm happy to take a lower position, a more remote connection. That is so fulfilling. That is so satisfying. Tui Prabhu loi acharya gela bitar gode Prashadya kiya Prabhu ananda antade. Advaita Acharya took Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within the room, and the two lords saw the arrangement of prasadam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was especially very pleased. Purport: Mahaprabhu was pleased because he saw how nicely so many varieties of food were prepared for Krishna. Actually, all kinds of prasadam are prepared for Krishna, not for people, but the devotees partake of prasadam with great pleasure. So he's seeing the prasadam, and he's not thinking, as I would think, oh, I'm so happy I can eat such nice prasadam. But he's thinking, oh, how nice that Lord Krishna could take such nice prasadam. I mean, just imagine to have that kind of pure heart, Always see the connection of the Lord, in everything. And that is the transformation that will take place through seeing, through that, always making that connection. Then gradually that transfer, we're reminding, and gradually the influence of that, higher potency, it will purify us. So that spirit of rejection, it will not be with the devotees, with the practitioners even. We are trying to move to the positive connection. Like there's that, Srila Sridhar Maharaj gives the example later in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in one place where Mahaprabhu is saying, I will just take this simple sabji, this lafra, and the devotees, they can take the pita pana, these very special sweets and all the fancy, opulent preparations. I'll take this simple lafra. But as Gurudev pointed out, lafra is very nice. But actually, I never really liked lafra, actually.
You never what?
I never liked lafra that much. It isn't the nicest sabji.
What's a mix of vegetables?
It's like a simple sabji that you make.
Many different vegetables.
Yeah.
And a stick sabji.
Yeah, I think the stick sabji would be in there. Yeah. I always liked that one that Janardhan Maharaj really, Shukta. Now that's really special. Shukta is bitter, yeah, and it has those fried things in there, and that's some fried dal. Yeah, Ratnavali Didi, she made it here a couple months ago.
Bitter is nice, huh?
Yeah, the neem bhajas that we were remembering yesterday, the fried eggplant with neem, that's very nice. Yeah. That's
with lots of mustard oil.
I love mustard oil. You have to like mustard oil. So Mahaprabhu, he says very humbly. But Gurudev is so simple. Gurudev liked mori powder, right? Like, he would take that mori powder with water. Like, he liked that. Like, he's like a real Vaishnava. Like, he likes these simple things, He's getting some taste in that, the mori powder. So Mahaprabhu said, I'll take this like simple sabji and let the other devotees take all the opulent preparations. But Swarup Damodar, he said, no, you must taste it just to see how Lord Jagannath has tasted it. So this is the adjustment of consciousness, that not that we'll avoid those very nice things, but we will try to see the Lord's connection there. Try to think, how happy I am that the Lord could take this, that the devotees could take this. I want to see like what they could taste, and while they're thinking of the pleasure of their Lord. Incredible thing, isn't it?
It's difficult to honor prasadam in a correct way.
Wow, almost impossible for me. I never, at the time, I don't think I ever remember. Very rarely I remember. When I have what helps me is if I have a talk about prasadam, like now, and then the next time I go to prasadam, I have the mood, but it just lasts that one time.
You gave a good advice amongst this, that you say, if you honor prasadam and you think this was coming amongst the other higher feeling that the Lord has taken, that it will give me strength for service. I thought that helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's also proper mentality. We're taking this for seva, for strength. We had a nice one day in Ukraine. We had somehow everyone kept asking. I was inspired to talk about prasadam, and then we had some questions, and everything went back to prasadam. So we had like an hour just talking about prasadam.
Nice.
But it was so helpful for me. It afterwards I felt, I was just discussing how, especially when you have some health considerations, then it's easy to slip into a bit of what's actually a bit of an offensive mentality,
Yeah.
Or at least for myself, Someone's offering you some beautiful, sweet rice and you feel like offended. Why are you giving this to me? I don't take that. I can't take milk, Like, wake up, like, this is the Mahaprasad of Mahaprabhu, like, So it's easy to slip into a materialistic way of thinking, You have to maintain that mood of appreciation and respect. But yeah, I'm still working on that. Proper prasadam consciousness. I was remembering there was one day, I think this was published on the website, but I was there at the time in Calcutta. When Gurudev, he was speaking in this like it was like with some sadness, He was quoting this verse. I don't know if sadness is very, very sober. Like little expressing it with a little bit of like lamentation mood. That he was quoting this verse. He was like pointing something out to us, we could say, And he quoted this Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyaratam Rajan Vishwasha Naiva Jayate. In that verse, it's saying, most of the time I'm not thinking about what it's saying when I say it, but it's saying that one who does not have faith in Mahaprasad, in Nama Brahmani, which means the holy name, in the Vaishnavas, in Govinda, one who does not have faith in these things, they have very little, good fortune, very little sukriti. So, meaning you need some faith you need some good fortune, you need some sukriti. And not everybody has it. It's a rare thing. You have some faith in Mahaprasad. And so Gurudev was saying, he was like listing all the things in this verse and saying, do we have faith in Mahaprasad? Do we really have faith in the holy name? Do we really have faith in the Vaishnavas? We don't. Like that.
The whole idea begins in the kitchen, right? When you're preparing the offering, right? And then the pujaari is offering it. And then later on we see the prasad and we think, but we don't really appreciate
all these connections,
all this connection, and then we don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
It even goes further, but that is not in our time. That in Ayurveda they say, how it has come from the ground, how Krishna has, have made this, it's like sort of magic, right, in a way, from the seed, and then all these different, vegetables and come and grow, and the sun shining and the rain is, it's all far up actually. Krishna's shaktis in that way. That's Ayurveda saying that, and we are taking, but we are going in a higher even.
And everyone will get some benefit if somebody donated something, some boga.
We could have a full hour meditation before we eat prasad. Just have the plate and just meditate and wow.
We should do it. I should try it sometime.
So sometimes I feel so sad. I think Krishna Mohini spent 2 hours cooking this wonderful prasadam, and I'm eating it in 15 minutes, and then I'm forgetting about it. All of these things, so much energy has gone here, and then it's been offered to the Lord, and I'm just taking some, food on my plate and gulping it down, and then going on to something else,
But it's working inside also.
Yeah, but Gurudev also pointed out that if you're not taking with the consciousness of faith, then you're not getting the full benefit. Of course, you'll get something, but everything's within consciousness.
And then to think that prasadam is Krishna, that's also a difficult one. Everything is Krishna.
It's nice.
All the shaktis.
It's nice to do the offering because then you can see.
Makes you more conscious.
More conscious of what prasadam is. And reading the mantras and seeing the activities involved.
You're inviting them to sit and eat and
and then afterwards you're meditating on the meeting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a very transformational experience to just sit
beautiful.
There and meditate on the meeting. It's like, wow, that's what they're doing right now, right there.
It's almost offensive when somebody rejects something.
I know.
I do that all the time.
Because they collect the boga. And they cook. And then pujaari offers. And then it's brought out there.
And say, oh no, thank you.
I do that all the time.
Especially with Mahaprasad. Actually, Mahaprasad, it should be asked for. As I understand, that's the proper way. It's not meant, Mahaprasad is more concentrated. So as I understand, it's not supposed to be distributed. Mahaprasad means what has come directly from the plate. So like in Navadip, they would have the 4 o'clock fruit offering, right? And then everyone would, and then the pujari would keep that, and probably some ants would crawl in there. And then by the time the evening arti would come around, like 6:30, so then there would be, they'd have the 4 o'clock offering, they'd cover the plate, leave it for a few hours, and then there would be arti, evening arti. And then after the parikrama, everyone would line up and like to get like a little cucumber and a little sweet rice, like it would be like lots of devotees,
I miss all these so much.
That's like actually the proper mood to take Mahaprasad. Like you're lining up, like you really want that little drop, like, and then you really appreciate it, So.
Yeah, better than the lines at Disneyland or something. You see those long lines at amusement parks, right?
Yeah.
Doing something for entertainment, but it's the opposite to be in the line for Mahaprasad.
Yeah, to receive some grace, a drop of grace.
It's not easy to get that right balance because we have 4 offerings a day of Mahaprasad. 4 Mahaprasad offerings.
Yeah. But it's all about the adjustment of consciousness. There's some, Srila Gurudev has quoted some, and also I think Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there's some beautiful verses by Bhakti Vinod Thakur where he's saying about like the glories of Prasadam. I think Tirtha Maharaj had them inscribed in Dum Dum Park in Bengali. But saying how, the jnanis and the yogis, they do all these, the tapasvis, they go through so many austerities, but what they can get through their austerity, we can get that and more just by honoring the Lord's prasadam.
A very easy way.
Yes.
Well, what is the experience then of honoring? What would be the proper inner mood and experience of honoring?
I mean, I've never had it.
Was this the question?
What is honoring prasad? What is the proper inner mood and experience of honoring prasad?
We would talk, it's difficult.
Yeah, is it talked about in Sri?
Well, one will just be in this mood, like we're hearing here, of thinking how wonderful that this is the Lord's mercy, and this mercy has come to me. And I mean, I don't think you've read yet that we sing that song, Sarira Vijajao Jodendriya Tahe Kal Jiva Fele. That song is really intense. I don't know if you've looked at the translation.
I have
But
before. I mean, it's sung in every temple, right?
Yeah.
It's the same song. And
Yeah.
I read the translation.
Yeah. Like we're living in this terrible conditioned state, This body is like a net of ignorance,
Right.
Binding me up in this world. And the senses, they're so powerful. And amongst those senses, the tongue is the most difficult. It is described as the most difficult sense. I think it's in Bhagavatam, there's a verse saying, you can conquer all the senses, but if you haven't conquered the tongue, that's like the last one, And it's also pointed out that, like in Upadeshamrita, these different urges are described. The urge of the tongue is the first one that's mentioned. Well, no, the first is the urge to speak, which is also connected to the tongue. And how if you can, there's the tongue, then there's the belly, and there's the genitals. So if you can conquer that urge of the tongue, you can conquer the other urges as well. And you could conquer the other urges, but if you haven't conquered that one of the tongue, then you're still, you're not in a stable position. So that song is so beautiful, that I'm in this condition, the tongue is so powerful. But the Lord, He is so, Krishna Boro Doya Moy, Krishna is so merciful. He has sent His own prasadam, Of course, the meditation will be different on different stages of realization. But for one in our condition, like this is our meditation, Like I'm in this terrible, bound up condition in this world. And the Lord is so merciful. He's given me His own food, Krishna Bodhadoya Moi, Kori Bade. To jiva joy means to conquer this tongue. To conquer this tongue. Swaprashad Anadila. Oh my brothers, can you believe it? He's given us His own food, His own prashadam. Say anamrita pao. So let us take these nectarian remnants of food. Say anamrita pao. Radha Krishna Guna Gao. Singing the glories of Radha Krishna.
That would be nice to chant.
Yeah, I haven't been doing it lately.
We do
Actually,
it normally.
yeah, normally we do. Yeah.
Before we take prasad.
Yeah, we have.
You can have a look at
We have been doing it.
Page 66.
Maybe I haven't been doing every day, but we do it.
We normally do it before we take prasad.
So
Sometimes
can I take this book with me?
Yeah.
And do it?
we have
It's
to.
right here?
Yeah, we need to.
We
It is there in Bang. It is on the wall, isn't it? Or no, I'm thinking in Italy.
We have it.
I think we need to put it up there, on the wall.
I see. So it starts with Mahaprasad, and then it
Yeah,
goes into Bare, and Krishna Bodhadoya Moy,
yeah,
and then it ends with Nita Gora Hari Pol, Radha Krishna Bodhadoya.
yeah,
Like that?
yeah.
That's nice.
And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Sridhar Maharaj has discussed this point. He's pointed out that prasadam is the solution. Because he mentions this in a song, that Shuddha Bhakata, that prasada seva kodito hoy sakala prapancha jai. That through prasadam seva, and it's a seva, through prasadam seva, we can cross over this whole material plane. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that in his song. And then there's a place in Sermons 3 where Srila Sridhar Maharaj discusses this point quite elaborately. Like, why is this so? That just through the taking of prasad you can become liberated. And he says because we're living in this reactionary plane. Everything that you do, it incurs some reaction. So you actually, it's impossible to avoid incurring more reactions. Because just to maintain yourself, and nowadays there's this conscious revolution going on, and people are becoming more and more aware of the level of exploitation that's behind everything, that we eat, that we do. So for one who wants to become free from the entanglement of this plane, they have to minimize their degree of exploitation. They have to bring it down to the lowest, minimal level that is required just to live. And so what is the most basic requirement that we all have? To eat. That is the most basic human requirement, to eat food. Other things are, we may have other kinds of desires and needs, but the real main thing is food, Like we need air and we need water, we need food. So that is the one thing that we can't eliminate. That I was really interested. One of the Australian devotees a couple months ago, he posted something about it's in the middle of Los Angeles. This family, they created this garden oasis, and they became fully self-sufficient just through what in the middle of the city, they made this amazing garden, and they became fully self-sufficient just through what they grow, and they were interesting people. It wasn't just they were growing vegetables for themselves to become self-sufficient, but they had some ideology behind it, and the father, who's now passed away, I think it was like his conception, his conceptualization. And there was some interview with him, and he said that you're in a very powerful position. If you can grow your own food, you put yourself in a very powerful position, because you're in the danger of becoming free. That was what he said, that you're if you can grow your own food, you're free, because you're not dependent upon society, their infrastructure, for anything. You have a type of freedom if you can do that. And that I found that so interesting, that he was able to hit upon that point in a very nice, with great clarity. Like this is our basic necessity, and if we can supply that for ourselves, then we're freedom. But then I made that connection with Bhakti Thakur and Srila Sridhar Maharaj's comments, saying, like, you're free on one level, but not at an absolute level. The real solution is prasadam.
Yeah.
Because your basic necessity is food. So if you could eliminate other exploitation, but you can't avoid the food, there's exploitation. Doesn't matter if you're a vegan, there's still exploitation behind that. So therefore, the real solution is Krishna Prasad. Because you offer that to the Lord, and then the sinful reactions, they are removed. And not only that, but there is some positive grant there. And everyone who's had some involvement with the production of that, growing, harvesting, cooking, offering, everyone at every stage, so all the vegetables also, they'll also get some grant. Yeah. So that's the real solution. Taking prasadam. And we saw with Srila Gurudev, like when Saraswati knows, like when he would take prasadam, it was an event, like he was very focused, wouldn't speak. It was a meditation, I've heard in earlier years he would be more social, and I think he did that just to, be polite, because that's the social expectation. But in his later years, in those years when I saw him, it was, it was a meditation for him when he was going to take prasadam. He wouldn't speak, He was very focused on that. And, and we can understand, this is an ecstatic experience for him, like he's taking the prasadam of the deity, Prasadam of Gandharva Govinda Sundar, Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar. Sometimes when we were in Navadvip, devotees, they would bring prasadam from different places, Devotees love to do that. I have this prasadam from Vrindavan. Oh, I'm not exactly where it's from, which temple, which deity, but it's from Vrindavan. Or I have this prasadam from Puri, and they've got all their different pockets. But I would feel like, come on, we're here in Gurudev's mat, in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's mat, taking the prasadam of Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar. This is the only prasadam that I need. I'm not going to get excited about, okay, I'll happily honor, but I'm not going to feel like, I was missing something, what I've got here, doesn't get better than this, this prasadam. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he made some comments like that, like we heard from Madhusudana Maharaj. Devotees like to go swimming in the Ganges, right? And the Ganges is close to our temple. It used to be much closer, but now the Ganges is actually moving, so now it's going closer to Mayapur. But anyhow, devotees, you hear about the Ganges, right? The Ganges is a sacred river, and of course it is. She is. But they're staying in our mat, and they would get excited about going to swim in the Ganges. And there was one time Srila Sridhar Maharaj was frank with someone, and he said, "Why are you going back to the Ganges? every drop of water here in the mat can give you pure Krishna prema. That's what he said. This is something even higher, what you've got here. You don't need to feel, oh, I'm going to go get purified bathing in the Ganges. Like, you're here in this mat. My Guru Maharaj's mat, where Gandharva Govind, Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar being worshipped, You don't need anything else,
Also the showers.
The showers. Yeah, of course, all these things depend on consciousness. But we can remember these things, try to remember these things. Because, there's gradation everywhere. There was another occasion regarding, gradation of prasadam, when somebody gave Gurudev some prasadam of Nrsingadev, and Gurudev said, he accepted, and he said, we are taking because we are afraid of Nrsingadev. He said, but Guru Maharaj would not take. Nrsingadev is afraid of Guru Maharaj. Because we can have this indiscriminate mood, but there's a gradation, like Goswami Maharaj commented on that, how he made a comment don't try to purify your guru, bring all this prasadam you're going to uplift him, that's not the proper mentality, I think he said somebody brought him the prasadam of some Brijbasi once, or some funny thing like that, But, he's on another platform, we don't need to try to purify him. And we were also that day in Ukraine. You were there. We were remembering this devotee. He's described in the Antya Lila. I can't remember his name, but he has this very deep appreciation for prasadam, and not only prasadam, not only mahaprasad, but mahaprasad. Mahaprasad means prasadam that has been taken by the devotee. If there's a pure devotee, then, if you offer it to the deity, it's mahaprasad. Then if you offer that prasad to the Vaishnava, then it becomes something more. It's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as mahaprasad. So this devotee, he has this very deep faith in the Kalidas is his name, in the prasadam of the Vaishnavas, and it's very humorous because he'll come up with these elaborate schemes, because the devotees don't want to give their prasadam, the real devotees, they're shy about that, But so Kalidas, he'll come up with these elaborate schemes, to get the prasadam of the there's this one where he gave some mangoes to one Vaishnava, and then that Vaishnava threw away the peel in the pit, in a garbage heap, and then he went and got that, and then he's sucking that, it says something like how he managed to get the prasadam of all the Vaishnavas in Bengal. Something like that. Yeah, he would go to... He ate the remnants of food of as many Vaishnavas as there were in Bengal. He would go to all the Vaishnavas born in Brahmin families, be they neophyte or advanced devotees, and present them with gifts of first-class eatables. He would beg remnants of food from such Vaishnavas, and if he did not receive any, he would hide. After the Vaishnavas finished eating, they would throw away their leaf dishes, and Kalidas would come out of hiding, take the leaves, and lick up the remnants. He would also take gifts to the homes of Vaishnavas born in Shudra families. Then he would hide and in this manner eat the remnants of food they threw away. And it also mentions how he got special mercy from Mahaprabhu because of the appreciation he had for the Vaishnavas. He got special mercy from Mahaprabhu. And there's some incident where he gets Mahaprabhu's foot water. Like he, in front of him, he takes his foot water. And normally Mahaprabhu really doesn't like that. It really annoys him. But it mentions there that because Kalidas had such faith in Vaishnavas, then Mahaprabhu accepted that from him. You know, he allowed that. Yeah, Mahaprabhu knew that Kalidas in the core of his heart had full faith in Vaishnavas. Because of this quality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu satisfied him with mercy not attainable by anyone else. Okay, so I guess I got that wrong. Maybe I think that happened another time though. He took Mahaprabhu's foot water, but here it's saying that Mahaprabhu personally sent some of his food remnants. Okay, well, we've had very nice remembrance of the glories of Prasadam. Now we have to honor Prasadam. Prasadam safe.
We can try it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll try. Yeah.
It's always good to talk about Prasadam.
It's such a good reminder.
Yeah.
You know.
It's all about appreciating everything.
Yeah.
We've got so much.
And also we have to remember the mood in which we cook.
Yes. Yeah. Even when you're buying the things, you know, like in the line of Bhakti, it's meant to be like that, from the very beginning. Even before you buy the things, you have to offer it first, you know. This is the Vaishnav conception. Ado arpita paschat kriyeta. First offer, then act, you know. So from the very beginning, from the buying of the things, from the purchasing, and then in the cooking, and then the whole line, you know.
Actually, it takes a lot of distance from all of that was automatically the senses and the mind going into something. At first, a distance, and an instrument, and then being very aware of what you're doing. You're not so calm to do that all the time, right? But that's
because it can become very mechanical.
Yeah.
We have to remember and be conscious. That's an offering. We are instruments, so we have to always remember. Remind ourselves all the time. In everything we do, really. But only cooking, in everything we do.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
We stop there. Good.
Prasada seva.
Prasadam seva. Jai.
Getting really eager for that.
Yeah.
Singing?
Oh, amazing. Okay. Hariharaya Nama Krishnaya Namaha Hariharaya Nama Krishnaya Namaha
Bhakti Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Sriyacharya Vrinki Jai Krishna Bhakti Bhakti Srila Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Krishna Bhakti 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 Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Sri Rupa Nuka Guru Bharata Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Hari Bhasna Guru Ki Jai Sakshara Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Govinda Shama Puna Radha Kunda Puri Govardhan Ki Jai Tulasi Narayani Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Ji Ki Mayapurdam ki, Jai Sri Vrindavanam ki, Jai Sri Purushottamadam ki, Jai Jagannath Sudhakaju ki, Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswatma ki, Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswatma Vaistum Chapta ki, Santavita Gaura